Good morning and welcome to the 2025 Lake County Partners Big Event. Good morning. I have to say, this is actually one of my favorite moments of the year. This is really awesome. So good morning and welcome to the 2025 Lake County Partners Big Event. Yeah, absolutely, bring it. It's truly a pleasure to see so many familiar faces and meet so many new folks here today. I've talked to so many people this morning already saying ooh, we love this event, we never miss it, and an equal number saying, hey, this is my first time, wow, look at this room. It's really great, and we love having you all here today. This event is a testament to the strength and vitality of Lake County, of the Lake County business community, and the overall economy, and it's because of all of you, our business leaders, our elected leaders, our community partners and innovators who make this so special. We at Lake County Partners are incredibly proud to be the ones to host this gathering every year, which has become the premier platform for economic growth and collaboration in the region. And this isn't just a meeting, right? It's a catalyst. It's where ideas are exchanged, partnerships are formed, and the vision for Lake County's future is shaped. We've put together a dynamic program, a great set of speakers, packed with valuable insights, engaging topics, hopefully a couple of jokes, you'll get those cues. Thank you. And opportunities to connect with your fellow leaders. We'll be hearing from our keynote speaker, Dr. Josh Harris, who will delve particularly into the topic of real estate and how we use it. And we're going to recognize the achievements of a few who are making real impacts in the county. And this morning is all about celebrating collective success. It's about acknowledging the hard work, the innovation, the dedication that drives this economy forward. But it's also about looking ahead. And we're going to identify some challenges and some opportunities that lie before us and how we can work together to build an even stronger and more prosperous Lake County for all. So on behalf of Lake County Partners, I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. We have a good handful of distinguished guests this morning, and I would like to call some of those out. Lake County Partners, we are very fortunate to have the long-standing support of Lake County. Could I ask all of the Lake County board members to please stand? We truly appreciate your support. And I also see, I'm pausing for a moment, County Treasurer Holly Kim. So could I ask Holly to please stand? We also work very closely with our municipal partners and supporters, and we are very grateful for that support. Could I ask all the mayors, village presidents, trustees, board members, commissioners, and elected officials to please stand? Over the last couple of years, we've had the opportunity to strengthen ties with our counterparts across the region. You've heard me talking about this for a couple of years now. And that's through our new partnership, the Greater Chicagoland Economic Partnership, and as well as Team Illinois. Can I ask our friends from World Business Chicago, the state of Illinois, and the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning to please stand? And last but certainly not least, how about a round of applause for our Lake County Partners Board of Governors, who are with us here today. Please stand. Because of their leadership and support is what allows us to do what we do and has kept us on track and for what's really a terrific run of success, which we are very proud of. We are also here today because of the generous support of our event sponsors. In particular, I would like to thank our sustaining sponsors, Lake County, the College of Lake County, Old National Bank, the Gorder Family Foundation, the Hunter Family Foundation, and Schreiber Philanthropy. Yeah, go ahead. We also couldn't do this without our event sponsors. We'd like to thank our partnership sponsors, Abbott and Comcast. And I'm looking out at this vast sea of sponsored tables, which we so appreciate your generosity in being here today. I encourage you to flip over that program that's in front of you to take a look at the list of partners who are helping support us here today. On that note, I invite you to take a few minutes to enjoy your breakfast and the company of those around you. We have a fantastic program lined up, which will start in a few minutes. For those of you who are already composing the perfect pick, please don't forget to tag us, #LCPBigEvent. We'll see you in a few minutes.
We have an exciting program lined up, and I'm eager to get started. I'm Steve Madden, CEO of Libertyville Bank and Trust and the North Region Market Head for Wintrust Financial Corporation. It's hard to believe that today marks my second year in the role of Chair of Lake County Partners. During my tenure, it's been my pleasure to work directly with many of you in this room and out in the community to enhance Lake County's economy, grow business, and make sure that we're positioned well for future growth and prosperity. If you've been to any of our events, ribbon cuttings, or groundbreakings over the last year, or if you're following along with our communications, you know that we have a lot to celebrate this morning. As measured by job growth and investment, we continue to enjoy one of the best streaks in county history. Lake County experienced a record-breaking year in 2024, marked by strategic investments and job creation. Over the last 5 years, Lake County Partners has facilitated more than $1.4 billion in direct capital investment, resulting in nearly 4,000 new jobs and the retention of nearly 2,500 existing positions. In fact, in just the first quarter of this year, we're already ahead of last year's achievements. This momentum was marked by several significant projects, including T5 Data Center's $2.25 billion investment in Grays Lake, establishing the county's largest data center to date, and Weimer Technologies' relocation from Texas, yes, a relocation out of Texas, to Buffalo Grove, bringing 80,000 square feet of headquarters space and contributing to the clean energy sector. Other major announcements included Sysmex America's decision to invest $20.6 million in the community and create 110 new jobs in medical diagnostics, and Thomas Foods International's $28 million expansion in Lake Bluff, introducing 108 positions in the food manufacturing industry. Regional collaboration has been a major focus for us. In a groundbreaking partnership, Lake County has united with the 4 other collar counties, the County of Cook, and the City of Chicago to strengthen the region's global competitiveness. This collaboration, formerly known as the Greater Chicagoland Economic Partnership, or GCEP, has already led to international delegations and trade missions aimed at showcasing our collective assets. We have come together strategically to tell a data-backed story about the workforce, infrastructure, affordability, and innovation that sets our region apart. This narrative is compelling, and it's already gaining traction on the world stage. And you should know that our very own Kevin Considine currently serves as the chair of the GCEP Advisory Board, so Lake County will be well represented. Along with the success has come recognition. Site Selection magazine recently named Chicagoland the top metro in the U.S. for corporate relocation and site selection for the 12th consecutive year. And Illinois is number 2 in the nation for corporate projects. Lake County has certainly played a major role in this honor, and we're in good company alongside our counterparts in the region who have been collectively working behind the scenes to fuel economic growth. Today reaffirms that we're not just individual organizations, cities, or counties. Together, we're a powerhouse with an unmatched competitive advantage and high quality of life, and we want site selectors, business leaders, investors, and talent to know that. Because when a decision maker gets to know our community, the choice to settle down and grow a company here becomes simple, and we have plenty of examples, many of them in this room today, of how we can help these businesses get started and flourish. During breakfast, you likely saw some compelling stats rotating on the slides. None of that would be possible without the help of all of you in this room. Our schools stand out as a key advantage because we have dedicated educators who are shaping bold new pathways to challenge students and arm them with the skills that they need to build careers, support families, and meet business needs. We also have strong corporate citizens, nonprofits, and philanthropists who dedicate time, energy, financial resources to supplement what teachers are doing in the classroom. We can't applaud our educational systems without acknowledging the huge role that our institutions play in the economy. The homegrown talent coming out of Rosalind Franklin, the College of Lake County, Lake Forest College, and the Tech Campus has been a game changer for local employers, including our major health systems, which have been ranked among the top in the state by U.S. News and World Report. Other economic indicators also give us plenty to celebrate. Growth has been particularly prominent in key industries like advanced manufacturing, life science, healthcare, and professional and technical services. We are also proud to report that Lake County remains the location of choice for corporate headquarters in Fortune 500s. Economic growth, coupled with a tight labor market and the current business climate, has further reinforced our laser focus on talent development and business outreach. It has also expanded our view to include important elements not traditionally viewed through the economic development lens. Things like housing and early childhood education quickly rose to the top of priorities when developing and executing the comprehensive economic development strategy for Lake County. Later today, you'll hear from our keynote speaker and real estate expert, Dr. Josh Harris. And I encourage you to think broadly and deeply about how his message applies to Lake County. We are always grateful to have your support for our mission to fuel economic growth and talent in Lake County. Thoughtful partnerships and a strategic work plan have always been the bedrock of what we do here at Lake County Partners, and will be particularly important as we stand poised for future growth with an eye on enhancing economic mobility and supporting our vibrant communities. Lake County is fortunate to have many strong corporate leaders that work with us and each other and choose to invest in our community. It is because of them that Lake County has such a rich history of business success. It is only fitting that we use this gathering as an opportunity to recognize companies that truly embody the spirit of community investment. This year, I'm proud to announce that we are presenting our annual Community Investment Award to Fortune Brands Innovations. Fortune Brands Innovations is more than just a company. It's a driving force in transforming spaces and enriching lives. With leading brands like Moen, Master Lock, and House of Roll, they've consistently demonstrated a commitment to quality, innovation, and corporate responsibility. We are fortunate that the company has also demonstrated an extraordinary commitment to our community. Fortune Brands is deepening its roots right here in Deerfield, Illinois. They're establishing their new headquarters at the former Horizon Therapeutics campus, transforming it into a dynamic hub designed for innovation and collaboration. This isn't just a change of address, it's a bold step forward. The expansion is an endorsement of Lake County and a vote of confidence in the region's skilled workforce and business environment. Fortune Brands is creating a magnet for talent, projecting the addition of at least 400 full-time jobs with the potential for even more growth by 2027. This investment will provide incredible opportunities for our residents and further strengthen our local community. The new headquarters is designed to spark creativity and collaboration. It will be an environment where chance encounters lead to groundbreaking ideas with amenities like an on-site gym, daycare, and even a bowling alley. They're not just building an office, they're designing an engine for innovation. Fortune Brands understands that their greatest asset is their people. They are committed to fostering a culture of continuous improvement, curiosity, authenticity, and inclusion. We are grateful to have the opportunity to assist Fortune Brands as they write this new chapter of business success, one defined by innovation, growth, and commitment to the community. We know that they will be a model for how a company can transform not only a space, but also the very fabric of Lake County. Please join me in congratulating Fortune Brands Innovations and welcoming Lee Avsek, their Executive Vice President and Chief of Staff, to the stage to accept the 2025 Community Investment Award. Lee, congratulations on Fortune Brands Innovations growth, and thank you for your support of the community.
Lot shorter. Thank you so much. Lee Avsek, I'm here obviously on behalf of Fortune Brands Innovations. Could not be more honored to be here, to be in front of this group. I think you did a great job of articulating who we are as a company, but I just wanted to get a little more color on why we're here right now because of this investment. So as you heard, Fortune Brands Innovations, we are a company that is really, really proud of our leading amazing brands, Master Lock, Moen, House of Rohl, Fiberon, Therma-Tru doors, the list goes on and on and on. And what's interesting is, as a company, we've actually existed for well over 100 years. What we've never had before this moment is all of our brands, all of our people together in one location. We've been all over the country. This is truly revolutionary for us as a company. And yes, we had a small, relatively small location already in Deerfield. But what's important to know is that when we made the decision to bring our associates all together in one location, our head of HR, who's sitting with me today, she was given the optionality of anywhere in the country, anywhere. And she chose right here. And she chose right here for a couple of really good reasons. First of all, we were fortunate enough to find an incredible space. I mean, if you've ever driven past this space, it is just modern, it is innovative, it is incredible. It's exactly the type of space that we wanted. But even more importantly, it's the talent. This community has such a wealth of talent, of the type of talent that a company like us wants. You know, people who are innovative, who think outside the box, who think big. This is the talent that we are already seeing. And to be clear, we are hiring. We are doing a lot of hiring. So if you need, let us know, because we are looking for really good people. It's an incredible place. So the entire country was open to us, and we chose here. And the last reason is because the support that we've been given by many people who've been in the room. We are grateful for the support. It's clearly an area where businesses are welcomed and encouraged. So just wanted to give one couple examples of who Fortune Brands is. And I hope that helps you understand why we're so excited to be here and why we have such confidence in the future. Mentioned a couple of our brands. I want to just give a little bit of color about who we are as a company. So our purpose, as you may have heard from some of the descriptions is we elevate every life by transforming spaces into havens. Okay, that's a big purpose. It's also something that doesn't just sit on our wall, although it is on a lot of our walls. It's something that we live by every single day. So let me give you a couple examples, just two, of our purpose in action. So we have a product, Flow by Moen. And if you haven't heard of it, it is a product, it sits on your main water main of your house. It tracks your water, don't ask me how, that's why we have really good scientists. And it tells you if you have a leak, okay? Massive potential for water savings. But maybe even more interesting, it shuts off that water in the event of a catastrophic leak. Why does that matter? Well, in addition to saving a lot of water, water damage is the single largest claim for insurance companies, more than fire and theft combined. $15 billion a year are paid out. We can take that to zero. We all know the crisis, the insurance crisis. We have a product through innovation, through big thinking, that can truly elevate every life. Because if we help solve this insurance crisis, we are helping elevate every life. Let me give another example. We own SentrySafe, okay? That's the leading, small safes you keep in your closet. You put your documents in there. Probably don't think about it. Well, I'll tell you who thinks about it. The people out west in the horrific fires. We had many, many people reach out to us. These are people who had to evacuate with 3 minutes notice. They had no time to take things with them. They came home to nothing except for what were in their safes. They opened up these safes. Sometimes they actually had to get the fire department because they melted around it to actually have the jaws of life, like physically open up the safe. They opened it up. Everything they had put in there, their documents, their photos, their birth certificates, their family heirlooms, they were perfectly safe. That is a great example of how we as a company can truly elevate every life by transforming spaces into havens. So we are going to do big things here in Lake County. I mean, big, big things. And we are so grateful for the support that we have gotten. We are so excited about the talent we're going to see, and we can't wait for this to be a years-long partnership. So again, on the bottom of my heart and on behalf of my company, thank you for this award. It means a ton.
Thank you to Lee and her team at Fortune Brands Innovations. We look forward to helping you lay the groundwork for much future growth. We have one final award that we're excited to present today. Last year, you may recall that we presented the inaugural Talent Advancement Award to Gina Schuyler from District 127 in Grays Lake for her work supporting career pathway education in the community. Gina's outstanding efforts have been closely tied to this year's award winner, who is unquestionably deserving of recognition in his own right, and whose work has likely positively impacted many of you here today. I am honored to bestow this year's Talent Advancement Award to Dr. Michael Karner, the Regional Superintendent of Schools at the Lake County Regional Office of Education. Dr. Karner is a superstar in the education space, and the complete list of his accomplishments would blow you away. Since assuming his role in 2021, he has ushered in transformative thoughts, concepts, and programs that are at the cutting edge of education. He has relentlessly pursued opportunities to bring resources to Lake County, engage students, shape new career pathways, and build a pipeline of talented leaders. The result is a profound and lasting impact on Lake County's educational system and new partnerships that will ensure its long-term strength. Among his many achievements, Dr. Karner has created the Illinois Virtual Schools and Academy in partnership with the University of Illinois that has served over 10,000 students in 251 school districts across 55 counties in just 3 years. Launched a career exploratory fair called Navigate Lake that gave 4,200 students in 8th through 12th grade valuable exposure to diverse pathways in in-demand industries like manufacturing. Implemented SchoolLink's WBL platform, a county-wide work-based learning system for high school students offered free of charge to high schools, Next year, this will be extended to middle schoolers at no cost as well. Implemented a countywide mental health initiative for free care navigation services called Referral GPS that provides free sessions for students who have income or insurance issues. To date, the program has provided nearly 900 free sessions to over 20,000 people. Secured $15 million in grant funding from federal, state, and private sources. Over $2.4 million has been allocated to sustain vital programs and services, such as when the Regional Office of Education assisted with filling in the gap to support nearly 600 students who lost their scholarships due to the sudden closure of the Schuler program. Brought the Dolly Parton Imagination Library to Lake County to provide a free book a month for every child in Lake County under the age of 5 at no cost to families. And just hot off the press, yesterday, he was named one of the top 25 nationwide doers and dreamers in government. Further details on these initiatives and more can be found on Lake County's Partners website in a feature blog. As you can easily see, Dr. Karner's visionary leadership, unwavering commitment, and the ability to foster collaboration have resulted in tangible and lasting benefits for students, educators, and families all across Lake County. He has not only addressed the immediate needs of our educational landscape, but has also laid a strong foundation for a brighter and more equitable future for all learners. His legacy will undoubtedly continue to inspire and shape the future of education in the region, the state of Illinois, and the nation for years to come. It is with great pride that I present Dr. Michael Karner with Lake County Partners 2025 Talent Development Award. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Karner and welcoming him to the stage.
Good morning. I'm honored to receive the Talent Advancement Award from Lake County Partners. I've been a resident of Lake County my entire life. I'm a proud graduate of Winthrop Harbor Schools, Zion Benton Township High School, Lake Forest College, and a resident of Antioch. I am grateful to have the privilege of serving Lake County now and for many years to come. I want to begin by thanking the people who have made the work of advancing talent in Lake County possible. Thank you to my wife, Dr. Tanya Karner, who is also an educator, my parents, my sister, and brother, Matthew Karner, who works for the City of Hope Cancer Center. Thank you to Kevin Considine and Lake County Partners. Kevin continues to be a driving force in bringing businesses to Lake County. Recently, Kevin was recognized by Titan 100. I hope everybody knows that in the room. Is the Titan in the whole world, so. Thank you to Chair Hart and the Lake County board members for your support and shared commitment to students. Thank you to my fellow Lake County countywide officials, Treasurer Kim, the Lake County government, Lake County Health Department, and Lake County Workforce Development, as well as our philanthropic partners, the Gorder Foundation, Hunter Family Foundation, Schreiber Philanthropy, and Staines Foundation. I'm grateful to my entire team at the ROE, specifically Assistant Superintendent Courtney Curry, CSBO Brittany Jardis, and CTE Coordinator Gina Schuyler. Last but certainly not least, to my fellow superintendents in the room, please stand. Thank you for your leadership. Lake County is the #1 county in Illinois for many reasons. We are home to thriving businesses, vibrant parks and recreation, and communities filled with pride and resilience. We are also have home to higher education partners such as CLC, the University Center of Lake County, Rosalind Franklin, Lake Forest College, and our amazing K-12 local school districts, which includes the Lake County Tech Campus. For me, the heart of it all is education. Education is essential for talent advancement. Our county continues to thrive over the years. From the outset, my vision has been simple yet bold, and that is to create access and opportunity for every K-12 student in Lake County. We should be proud of our schools in Lake County and what we are collectively supporting. We are home to many blue ribbon schools, a green ribbon school. 36% of our schools in the county are ranked in the top 10% of Illinois, and 89% in the county are ranked in the top 20%. Many are consistently ranked in the top in the country. These rankings just aren't numbers, they represent the everyday excellence happening in our classrooms and the educators who never stop pushing forward. In the past 4 years, as mentioned earlier, the Lake County ROE has brought new investment into education. We talked about $15 million. We're up to $18 million now in securing grant funding, lowering that burden on the local taxpayers. The virtual school continues to expand, as mentioned earlier, with over 10,000 students, and the care navigation system has been the only one provided county-wide in the state of Illinois. Everything we do in Lake County is state leading. We also have made sure to keep our students safe by having school safety conferences and a school safety app for every district. And as mentioned earlier, exploring their futures with a work-based learning system. You heard about Navigate 8 Lake earlier. 4,200 students, and that is just the beginning. Next year, it's going to be even bigger. Over 100 industry partners in Lake County partnered, and I ask that you consider doing that next year. We talked about earlier about the Schuler program closing. $2,500 were given to 581 students who in the summer lost their scholarships. And we're continuing to raise that this year to help those students finish their college or university experience. Dolly Parton Imagination Library, Lake County, K-0 to birth to 5, over 1,000 students have signed up in 2 weeks. And our goal is to make sure every child in Lake County is able to be a part of that opportunity. I have one clear ask today for all of you in the room, and that is to partner with us. If you're a business leader, open your doors, offer internships, be a mentor, provide apprenticeships through our School Links platform, which you'll see a poster board out in the hallway that you can scan a QR code for. Work with our local school districts, show a student what's possible. If you're in a position to give, consider donating to the ROE Foundation, as our goal is to ensure that every dollar goes to supporting a child to go to school every day and ready to learn. Public education is the backbone of a strong community, and when we invest in our students, we invest in our workforce, our neighborhoods, and our future. Lake County has always been a place where people want to live, work, and play, and grow. Let's keep leading the way in developing talent together. Thank you.
Dr. Karner, congratulations and thank you for everything you do to inspire our community. A highlight of serving as chair of our Board of Governors is working with the local leaders to advance Lake County. For over a quarter of a century, our organization has had a track record of bringing the public and private sectors together to make inroads on important initiatives that position Lake County for success in the workplace and outside of it. It is my sincere hope that during the last 2 years as the board's leader, I have helped to advance that mission and lay the foundation for success for many more years to come. While this event marks my last official duty as chair, I can promise you that I won't be going far as I look forward to remaining on the board and working alongside my colleagues. I want to thank my fellow Board of Governors members for their support during my tenure, and in particular, express my appreciation to my predecessor, Richard Korengold, our Vice Chair, Dan Joyce, our Treasurer, Chris Blaylock, our President, Kevin Considine, and very importantly, the entire Lake County Partners staff. What a great team. It is my honor to pass the role of chair to my friend and colleague, Dan Joyce. Dan is the Chief Operating Officer at Bath Concepts Industries, a longtime manufacturer in Lake County, and he has been an asset to our organization for many years, and we're fortunate to have his support. I have no doubt that under his direction, we will continue to make incredible strides, and he will raise the bar and deliver the same outstanding service, connections, and resources that Lake County Partners has become known for. Dan, please join me on the stage.
Thank you, Steve. And I'm sure there's a few people questioning who gave me the mic for any amount of time. So thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of the entire Board of Governors to honor you for your many years of service and leadership at Lake County Partners. We are so fortunate to have the support of Steve, Libertyville Bank and Trust, and the wider Wintrust community banking team. They've been instrumental in a number of initiatives that have taken on in recent years, including the Greater Chicago Economic Partnership and our highly successful quarterly meeting series that we host for our public sector partners. Steve's wisdom and leadership have transformed our organization, and his engagement, input, and expertise have been vital to our achievements. His insights are invaluable and help us fortify our operations, services, and functions while ensuring that we remain transparent and in good financial standing. We all rely on Steve's steady hand, and we count on him to guide our work plan, shape our initiatives, and forge new relationships. As a token of the board's appreciation for Steve's many accomplishments, I'd like to present him with this crystal. Please join me in thanking Steve for his service and dedication to our organization and to Lake County. I'm excited to get to work as your new chair and deliver the impact that you have come to expect from us over the years. I'm committed to sustaining the forward momentum that we keep Lake County at the cutting edge of business growth and innovation. Judging by our project pipeline and ambitious goals, I know that you'll continue to hear steady drumbeat of wins from us long after this meeting concludes. We can't do any of it without the leadership of our next speaker, because she, along with the rest of Lake County Board, play a pivotal role in shaping the future of Lake County. Please welcome to the stage Lake County Board Chair Sandy Hart. Sandy was elected to the Lake County Board in 2012, and she has served as the chair since 2018. She's been a longtime champion of economic development in the county and an integral part of Lake County Partners leadership. Sandy, we appreciate your tireless dedication and thoughtful insight. Thank you for being with us.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So nice to see this room so full today. This event is always so energizing, and I appreciate this opportunity to see everyone and to truly think big about Lake County's future. I'm honored to represent the Lake County Board today, and I'm proud of everything that we are doing to make sure Lake County remains a wonderful place to live and work. I want to briefly recognize our board members who are here today: Jennifer Clark, Carissa Kasman, Paris Parek, Vice Chair Mary Ross Cunningham, Sarah Kniznik, Mara Altenberg, Linda Peterson, Kevin Hunter, and John Wasik. So thank you so much for being here today. We are dedicated to improving your high quality of life by investing in infrastructure, our people, and our communities through collaboration and partnerships with nonprofits, our philanthropy partners who are here today, and every level of government. One example of this is our new Regional Operations and Communications facility, which will open this summer. It brings together dozens of government agencies and will serve as a central hub for public safety communications so our first responders, fire, EMS, and police can get to emergencies faster, because every minute counts when it's life or death. This 911 consolidation allows us to provide these services in a more effective and less expensive way. And I want to thank Congressman Brad Schneider for the federal funding that helped bring this to reality. We're also investing in infrastructure projects across Lake County, making it easier for people to get around, whether on foot, bikes, or in cars. We have, I think it's about 700 miles of bike paths in Lake County. That is amazing. We are addressing climate change by heavily investing in our stormwater systems to reduce flooding and protect homes, businesses, schools, and roadways. We're investing in education, as you heard, and training programs that are so crucial to the success of our businesses and, importantly, our residents. With Lake County Partners and our educational and workforce development leaders working together, we have more opportunities than ever before to nurture talent and connect employers with prospective employees. And I especially want to thank and recognize Lake County Partners team, not just for this terrific event today, but for the work they do every day. They are constantly doing the research, the outreach, and the follow-ups to make sure we never miss an opportunity to welcome and support businesses and promote Lake County and the greater Chicagoland area. And the Chicagoland area is the place to be. We have the second highest number of Fortune 500 companies in the United States, and we're a global freight and air travel center, with O'Hare being the #1 most connected airport in the United States. Our electric grid is the nation's most reliable, and because of our effective distribution channels and the density of our supply chain, businesses can get product to market more easily and with greater cost efficiency. And our highly educated workforce is second to none, helping to make Lake County the #1 life sciences hub in the Midwest. And in addition to the exciting news about Fortune Brands, just last week I attended a ribbon cutting for Vantiv, which is investing $23 million for their new U.S. headquarters in Deerfield. The state of Illinois is offering terrific and innovative business incentives, and I urge you to check out the DCEO website or reach out to Ron Lands. Ron, can you raise your hand, as I know you're here? Oh, he's in the back. Okay, there he is. To learn more, and Ron has been a terrific emissary for Lake County Partners. We will do everything we can to foster a vibrant community where everyone has a chance to succeed. And our keynote speaker is going to inspire us to do just that. Dr. Josh Harris is a leading real estate economist and investment strategist, specializing in real estate development, finance, capital markets, and business organizational leadership and strategy. He serves as executive director of the Fordham Real Estate Institute at Fordham University after holding prior academic appointments at New York University, St. John's University, and the University of Central Florida. Additionally, Dr. Harris serves as managing partner with the Lakemont Group, a real estate and economic consultancy, and as a senior vice president of Crossmark Services, a family investment firm. I'm excited to welcome Dr. Josh Harris to the stage, and I know that his valuable insights will provide the roadmap we need to build on our momentum. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. It is a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me to this wonderful event. I have to say, today's talk is going to be a lot about competition, the competition of cities. Now, obviously, if you're here, this is the Economic Development Agency for the region. They're all about competing, correct? And they got dollars and all these great deals they get to make. Well, I'm going to talk a little about why cities grow and why they're successful, and occasionally, sometimes, why they're not successful. Implicit in this story is going to be a little bit of my own personal arc. I grew up in Florida. I then moved to New York. I actually lived in Westchester County, which those of you might know, it's somewhat similar and analogous to Lake County. Isn't that a rail-connected suburb to the north of a big metropolitan, obviously New York City, similar to that big metro region like Chicagoland is here. And then I actually moved back, and I reside now in the Orlando area, and I still go back and forth for Fordham University to New York. So I'm also now living more that Aerotropolis life. So you'll kind of hear a little bit about why that works and even why I chose it. I always like to make a quick disclaimer. This is all my own personal opinions, not of Lake County Partners or Fordham or anybody else. And of course, I might be wrong. A little bit of humility, especially from anyone who purports to be an economist, any time, if now, if not ever, is important. All right, let's talk about why cities form and grow. We all live and grew up in various cities, some of us small towns, some big metropolitan areas. So the question is, why do they form, and why is your life the way it is? Here's the interesting fact. All of our lives, the way we live, is almost entirely defined by the technologies that we have to use. That may sound like a strong statement, but trust me, go read any history book, you'll realize how it's true. Not only is it our lives, it's also been defining our cities. What do I mean by this? Why do cities exist? Why do we decide to live often in these clustered zones versus sort of dispersed across the country? It's simple. A city or any locale is a location where you can aggregate people, resources, and time. If it's close, it can be together. We can think about this with manufacturing supply chains. You have to have all the pieces, the road networks, the rail networks, to make it work smoothly and cost efficiently. Information and people flow was the same concept. Interestingly, this is something I learned only recently. All these big sky rises here, high rises that make up the skyline, certainly Chicago, New York. If it wasn't for the telephone, these couldn't exist, because people need to go up and down, and you could not have enough runners with paper that would basically glum up the elevators. If it wasn't for a whole connection of technologies, it would not work. This has always been the case. So information, I'd argue, is one of the most important resources that in today's modern knowledge worker economy you have, right? Let's think about the history of this real fast. How does it start? The printing press, books. Suddenly we can actually write it down, pass it around for generations, but that's a very slow process. Next big one, the newspaper. Now, this is where you start to see cities grow to, right? Daily, if not even twice printed, but you had to be close to get that. Suddenly, information moves day at a time. Then, of course, radio and television. Now we have instant communication. Do you notice that when communications like radio and television begin, that is when suburbs happen to grow, because suddenly you're not disconnected from the city's news if you happen to be X number of miles out waiting for a newspaper to be delivered. Now, we all know what jumps here. I'm going to jump through a little fast. Who's got one of these on them? Suddenly, you're getting bing, bing, bing of information. I remember when I was preparing these slides, it was close to the time that Pope Francis had died. I wake up, I know this because I've got about 17 different news alerts. Every single app in my phone that could provide me news has told me this. Had I had any alerts on with audio, I would have been woke up in the middle of the night. It's instantaneous. That is what's happened to communications. So how does this relate to cities? I would argue that one of the primary reasons in the knowledge economy that we kept growing our big and bigger cities is because information aggregation was a city crossing first. But I question, is it anymore? Now that we are in such a ubiquitous time of communication, is it really necessary to be at the centroid of location, or could you be anywhere? Who works for, we have some very large companies represented here, correct? When that email goes out from the CEO or a head group, does it not hit probably everybody's inboxes instantaneously? And are you not all at 9 p.m. still checking your phones? We're in a different world. So this goes back to, why did cities get founded and how did this work and grow? It's transportation technology and some wonderful wildlife I hear outside. They said we were going to be in a tent, and they realized they meant it. So let's talk about transportation. So if we know about information technology, we've all lived that. That's like a popular story. And now we're trying to get, and we got a lot of people from the school boards trying to get the phones out of the schools is a big thing. Interestingly, the speed of information has gone like infinite, right? To where we don't even know what the measurement time of an email send is. There's a measurement, I promise you. I bet there's tech people in this room who can answer it. None of us have any idea could ever perceive it. But drive times and flight times, we all know. And guess what? They have not accelerated at all in probably 70 years. In fact, if anything, they've always declined. In fact, the Concorde's not even in service anymore, right? So what's this transition look like? Cities, believe it or not, was by how you could walk. I talk about 30-minute cities. Yes, I'm going to allude to drive times if you haven't figured that out. The original 30-minute city concept was walking around small towns. In fact, in Europe, all the small villages, their edges are basically about where you can get from point to point in about 30 minutes, under the concept that people didn't really want to move more than an hour in a given day. 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. We add horses, we can move more stuff, but it's about the same. Then we get ships, and all of a sudden now we can conquer all the various worlds across the country. And of course, places like New York in the United States become founded as right. The ship becomes the dominant trend, and if you look where all the cities were in that era, they're all right by the water. Then we get this. Now, Google Images has told me that this is an image of the first type of train that was servicing Chicagoland. If any good historians will confirm that for me, I don't know. This is the wisdom of Google, but it was a Chicago newspaper that confirmed it. Chicagoland's a rail-driven area, right? This is part of the rail hub movement, right? We move into the center of the country. Rail is very important, and that obviously is where Chicagoland gets sort of its start in terms of being the mega power that it is. Of course, trains get a little faster and smaller, right? That's the L train right down by the loop. And suddenly we're able to have a lot bigger cities and places that install this. Now, we don't get very far in the United States with this as a dominant technology, but you happen to be one of the metro regions that does it. What's been the most dominant ones? You guys know the answer. It's the airplane and the car and the roadways. That's from the highway systems. This has been the dominant technology since the 1950s. And we have not really surpassed it. Our cities today are grown basically by how far you can drive, and I'll be quite blunt. The quality of the city growth is heavily dependent on how good that airport is. You guys are lucky on that one, and I will get back to it. But the point about this is that time matters most. So let me talk a little bit about my time in New York, my time in Orlando, and something I realized. Who's been to Westchester County, New York? Just a quick show of hands, right? Beautiful northern suburb. I promise you probably would feel right at home. Now, New York has a little bit worse traffic than Chicago does. I've experienced this on multiple times. Within 30-minute drive of my house, I barely could get to edges of the Bronx. If I was to talk about my train commute, it would get me stuck on a Metro North line somewhere in the middle of the Bronx. I could drive to the airport in 25 minutes from my door to LaGuardia at about 4 a.m. Returning home at about 5 p.m., it could take me up to 2 hours routinely, because there was always an accident on the Whitestone Bridge. There was no way to move around and move about. I would have friends in various parts from New Jersey to Long Island. We could never communicate. In fact, it got to the point like, let's just do a Zoom meeting. In Orlando, I can move all about. In 30 minutes, I get to point. So the point that I realized is that when I live in Orlando, I live in all of Orlando each and every day. This was extremely different than what it was like being in the New York tri-state region. And I think the quality of life of where you can get to is very important. So what does this actually mean, right? We live where we can get to in a reasonable amount of time. Now, 30 minutes is an arbitrary construct, of course. It's not like all of a sudden you're going to look at your GPS, oh, that's 32 minutes away, not going. No, of course not. But we do know that there is a point in a boundary moment where you're like, I'm not doing that. Or it's more taxing, it's more costing. And that's something that's been very, very powerful. We're going to talk about how this relates here. And the point that I'm making is that it's very different, candidly, in a Chicagoland, which is a big metro, than it is if you are in a small town like Charleston, South Carolina. It's one of the ones I like to talk about because they figured out the airport thing very well. South Carolina's done some interesting things. So, time is a great equalizer of life. I think you all know that. You all know that implicitly. You all know how to guard your time, or you all wish you had more time. Nobody ever says that. Time is also what drives our cities. All right, let's talk about Lake County alone. I'm hoping the maps will come in. They'll look pretty good. Normally, when I'm going to pull these off, these type of maps from our demographic software, I usually zoom in tighter. I purposely had a longer zoom out where I've got multiple states here, and there's a reason why. I talked about competition. I will warn you and encourage you that your competition is on this whole map as far as Michigan and Indiana, right? When companies are looking around, we're going to talk about the dimensions of where they're competing, but I promise you, you are fighting a greater region. There's benefits, but there's also costs and risks to this. But there you are, and obviously Chicago right down there to effectively to the south. All right, let's do a little experiment. I was given an address by Kevin in Libertyville, Illinois, which definitely does look like a centroid for the county. And actually, when I ran the numbers on it and put it into the drive time software, he was right. It was a good call. If you are here, and you can just trust the point on there on the map also, if you were going to drive there by 7:30 in the morning, Google suggests it's going to take you 55 to 90 minutes. Does anyone think that's an accurate representation from Google? 7:30, no. Is that too short? Into the city, right down to the loop. Yeah, that should. Google's usually good. I mean, but sometimes you're like, oh yeah, right. I'm going to get stuck behind. I don't know. I always like to ask the audience. But you guys are a rail-connected city, right? You have rail, the awesome option. So I went to your website for Metro there, and it is about longer. That is not an advantage. I will say at least Metro North. Now, I always love the way they talk about the train commute. New Rochelle, that's where I live, 30 minutes to the city. Well, yeah, you got to drive to the place, park in there, walk to the committee, then you got to wait for the train. Yeah, there was no way you were getting in inside of an hour, and that was considered a short commute by New Yorker standards. So what is it like living here? What is reasonable commute? Now, if you're going to be able to see these maps, I'll try to describe them. The red is the 30-minute boundary. Your county, you can get all around. Your whole county works. You can get up past, you can get up a little bit into Wisconsin. You're not getting too close to Chicago. 45 minutes, you get closer. 60 minutes, which is kind of what most people consider kind of the boundary of a reasonable daily commute. You get right at the edge of Chicago, get all the way up to Milwaukee, right? So it's very reasonable this is a commuter-driven town, as one would expect it to be, right? That is sometimes they hate, I know people hate that phrase, bedroom community, but this is where it comes from, because maybe you don't want to live in a high-rise in Chicago, you want to actually have a yard, you want to have good schools. That's a big, schools, huge drivers of these markets. That's about your reasonable range. So what's happening inside of your 30 minutes? What's happening in Lake County? All right, I'm not going to read all the demographics up here. I am going to give all this data to Kevin, so if you want to get the in-depth dive, he'll have it. You're a wealthy suburban community. I'm sure I just shocked everybody with this news. Highly educated, high wealth index, high median household incomes, etc., with a declining population expectation. I put that in red because I do want to caution everybody about this, because when we talk about growth, a lot of this is purely demographics. People are having fewer kids. That's just kind of the nature of the world. It's something to contend yourself with how you do policy. We talk about schools and growth and housing, which we're going to talk about. How you move and commute. Now, this is something you might find a little bit interesting. Now, this is from the Census Bureau puts this out. So if you don't believe in it, take issue with the Census Bureau, but it's consistent across the country. This is how you guys commute. How many people drive to work every day? All right. That fits the demographic, about 78.6%. Take a car. How many work from home? Just a few handful. That's the next one, 14%. How many people take a train into Chicago or elsewhere? A few people. That's about right, 2.6. You guys are very representative. How many people walk to work? Not many walkers. 2%. Just about as many of you take the train walk. And that is not the walk from the bedroom to the living room for work from home. That's a different answer. And by time, 55% are under 30 minutes. And then it gets a little bit worse. We've got, 33% at the 60. And then the one I always look at is this over 60 minute at 11%. Your average commute time is 29 minutes. How do you compare? How do you reference that? The nation is about an 8% that's over the 60 minutes with an average commute closer to 26 minutes. The way these statistics work, you guys are long commuters. Whether that's because of traffic or just because you're going greater distances, I'm sure it's probably because people are going to Chicago. But you are people that spend more time ostensibly in a car or a train to get to work. But not substantially. In fact, the 11% is actually not that bad. You get in parts of New York and that gets way over 20%, up to 30%. So you guys actually ostensibly have a better life in that regard. All right, so what does this mean? How does this relate to the future of cities? So what are you going to do with this, right? How are you going to take this and what to expect? And this is where we get into that competition boundary. This is the dimensions that, candidly, it is a war for talent as much as it is a war for people. Part of the message I want to leave you with is, if you want to grow jobs, if you want to grow the economic opportunities of your cities and your county, you've got to make it good for people to want to live there first. We've had this discussion with people like, the days where IBM calls you up and says, guess what, you're moving to Washington and now you're moving to Chicago. It doesn't work that way. Companies are looking where the people are and they don't expect people to relocate. Part of that is because we have two-income households, so all of a sudden if you have a high-powered executive man, he's probably married to a high-powered executive woman or something like this, right? So you can't have one move and then disrupt it is a lot harder to do this these days. So how do we compete on people? I will argue it's the best 30-minute experience wins. Now, you can do that from any address. Take your own home address, take an office address. What is within that reasonable commute time? The best experience is where people are going to enjoy it, and hence they're going to want to stay. How do we define experience? Let's put some parameters on this. It's a quality of life overall. What are the metrics? One is simply live, and I put it here. Can I affordably live here? That affordability is the biggest boundary right now in people's decision-making about where they live and work. And I hate saying it, it's going to get worse probably before it gets better. I'm going to hit on that quite a bit today. Work. Do I have economic opportunity? Spoiler alert, you guys do really well at that. Better than a lot of suburban counties in a lot of places across the country. Play. Can I enjoy my leisure time? I think this is the new X factor. This is a big one for me. I look spending more time in the hospitality world. Fordham, we're actually even launching a hospitality program within our real estate institute. We think it's so important. I think people are making more and more decisions on this one, and they will in the future. With this whole Zoom and online work thing, the knowledge workers have so much more freedom in this. Now, we're going to deal with technological impacts. I remember I started out and I said the technological impacts are defining your life. They're still coming. We have already in this world, information communication, ubiquitous, across the board, instantaneous, asynchronous. You now consume information at your time. Who still signs in at 9:30 to watch a sitcom on ABC or NBC? You read your email when you want to, which might be like 24/7, including Christmas, New Year's, Easter, everything, right? But you choose when. That's asynchronous. We are working and living in this way. That's not going to change, but we have yet to get our cities have not changed in respect to this. Now, transit, what's interesting is information is like the quantum world. Electrical engineers figure this out. Physics decide how we travel. Who thinks about who's about those air delivery drones? I have a pilot's license. I've spent a little time. I'm not like I'm not a physics or engineer by then, but I can tell you wind is going to be the death of those things. The little guys that run on the road, they got the advantage. I've seen those in Dallas and other cities. But cars, the one that I think for Lake County, I'd definitely be paying attention to this, and a lot of regulatory effects. The driverless cars, the robo-taxis. Suddenly that might make that commute into Chicago a lot less painful if you don't have to drive or take the mental cost of driving. That is, to me, the one big technology. What do I think is going to happen? And this is where it is very important for Lake County. Your time boundary, I think, is going to continue to shift outward, right? So when we had the cars, you remember the highways? What did that do? It pushed our city boundaries out. That 30 minutes, which was originally just how fast I could walk from my village to my village, got a heck of a lot farther when I could drive a lot farther. Add on airplanes. Now, granted, you're not flying anywhere in 30 minutes. I mean, you're not even arriving in 30 minutes before your flight in any day. Suddenly, I could live in other cities, and you know what? I can be in Orlando. I do this more often than I wish to admit. I will leave my house ungodly early, get to the Orlando International Airport, get to New York, take an Uber or a train into the city, do a bunch of meetings, go back to the airport, and get home before midnight. Yes, I'm very tired the next day, but I can do it. It's completely changed it, and our boundaries of where we can live and work have changed. They're going to shift outward. And then what does that mean? That means localized preference wins. Is Lake County awesome? Can you recruit your friends here? If you can recruit companies here. But the threat of that is they have other choices too. That's the flip side of it. The question is if it's near enough, and that's partially why I think the boundary shift to Chicago, which is a big draw, big economic engine, will continue. All right. So let's talk specifically for Lake County for a moment. In my opinion, there's three big things you have to handle and tackle. If you do all three of these, you're well set for decades to come. Number one, housing. Number two, housing. Number three, housing. Let me be very blunt. This is the boundary, this is the battle lines of cities, states, and counties for the future. It has gotten incredibly expensive to live practically everywhere. It's not a New York City or a San Francisco story. In fact, literally, I just maybe random happenstance, on my flight in last night, on my LinkedIn feed, I saw a story posted about this incredible housing shortage and lack of building in where? Milwaukee. Right up the line. A lot of the cities all over the place, housing shortages and unaffordability has become a ubiquitous problem. I'm just in the process of finishing up an article to get published with a Trepwire, which is a real estate data provider, about how housing has become like a luxury good, especially on the for sale market. Folks, we're not going to probably build enough anytime soon to even get close to this. But the better you can fight this, the better. Why? And this is just a quick illustration. This is Lake County, Illinois. The far left, I guess, on your side is the Zillow Home Value Index. You can see what it looks like. You can see that you don't even have to really read the bottom lines. You can see where the post-08 drop is. You can see where you are now. The other side is the mortgage payment as a percentage of income. You're not unique. This graph looks pretty similar in any growing or thriving metro across the state. But it's a real problem. And for companies, I got to tell you, site selectors, the companies that are looking to relocate, they are absolutely paying attention to housing markets. It's not just where the CEO can buy the mansion and go play golf. They're looking at where do the entry-level people live, where do the people who rent, where are the families, where are they going to send their schools. That is increasingly part of the scorecard, whether they admit it or not. So what can you do? Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's see, I'm watching my time here. All right, on the live dimension, I've already said it, housing. What does that actually mean? It's an affordability to quality ratio. People will pay more for more quality. Typically that means schools. That is really what it means schools, safety to some degree, but usually by the time you're out in these areas, that's not the driving factor. Closest to retail, et cetera, that's the play dimension. But typically people want to be able to afford relative to their incomes, right? So you do have higher incomes, you can afford higher places to live. What do you need to do to fix it? Look, it's really simple. You need to build more. Look, I will preach to the choir probably in a room like this, but you need to build more of it anywhere and everywhere. The fears that people have about adding housing in the suburbs and in these suburban counties, trust me, maybe it's a deeper discussion afterwards, they're usually so unfounded. In fact, in Westchester County, one of the fears was that it was going to overblow the schools. I was actually speaking at an event, kind of a similar with the Business Council of Westchester, and one of the local firms, a real estate firm, produced a report that basically showed we've added all this housing and apartments in certain markets. The school capacity, I would say the school utilization actually is still falling. People are having fewer and fewer kids. It's probably a hollow fear, but that's the biggest one I hear. What does it mean? Single family homes, ADUs. Everyone know, who knows what an ADU is, just by phrase? If you don't, accessory dwelling unit, sometimes called a granny flat. It's so easy, they will not disrupt the world. Of course you need apartments, market rate, affordable, whatever you can do. Advocate, be the housing advocate, be the yes in my backyard is the most important thing. If you want jobs, that's the deal. All right, work. I'll give you right now. You guys have got this figured out. I don't have a lot to add. You guys should be giving lessons to the rest of the country. You've got Fortune 500s here, you've got everything, you've got manufacturing, got all this. I will say, I do think that the whole reshoring movement, and this is like my thoughts pre the tariffs, and I'm not even going to touch that right now, but there is going to be more of this activity coming back. You have a lot of potential advantages here, and I think you can play into it. And of course, I think your job will come if you nail the housing question. If you can nail that, you can get there. All right, the play to me is the hidden dimension, some of the most important things to hit on. Restaurants, entertainment, bring up those restaurants, those restaurateurs that are in Chicago that maybe want to get out. You have theme parks, get all these things. Make this the destination where the quality of the playtime is the best. And I'm actually being very serious, Kevin, incentivize those companies. Be willing to kind of go into a different model to where this is an exciting place to stay. Tourism, what's interesting is, look, I live in Orlando. I've done a lot of tourism type consulting. The idea that like Disney World is the model for where we all get on an airplane and go to these massive theme parks and dump ungodly sums of money, that is not the original model of tourism. It was where you could essentially drive to. If you can have that, I tell you what, and this is actually played out in Orlando, other cities, you will get jobs. Thinking about it regional, local, and just from looking at your area, be it from natural habitat, other things, quick of what you can drive and get to, I promise you this is an area you can actually excel at. Don't be afraid to market it. It will pay off in both jobs and other benefits. All right, and let's see. How much time do I have left before 5 minutes? Perfect, I'm good. I'm gonna do this on time, I'm amazed. The secret weapon of Lake County. Who wants to guess what it is? I'm here talking about a lake. Lake Michigan. Don't disagree. Not what I'm about to put up on the screen, but I agree. I think that is, if you could ever get like some really cool high-speed hydrofoils and maybe connect I don't know. I think that'd be a little rough in the winter, but I was thinking like, man, could you drive across that? Like, no. Anybody other guesses what you think I'm going to think the secret weapon is? Location, but what about it? Something specific. It's a thing or a place. Airport. I arrive via it and I will depart via it. Yeah. You have this big, massive, sprawling airport with like I think it has like more runways than any other airport here, at least active ones. And you're literally a 30-minute drive and supposedly a 45-minute peak drive. Google might underestimate that at times, but I get a lot of nods. Listen, COVID changed the world, right? Who thinks COVID changed the world? I argue it really didn't. It just showed you things that were true and it brought things forward. Truth is, we all wanted to work from home before. Now it just gave you an excuse. Why did we work so well? It's because we were, and actually for there, about a year, I mean, depending on where you were, a little bit longer, we all were ubiquitously not traveling. We all were able to get on our Zooms. There was some equality to it. And it showed us a lot of what we were wanting to do well before COVID, or maybe like work from home, but we were doing it secretly. I would argue that the killer feature of cities these days, especially if you're talking about the high-end knowledge workers, and yeah, I'm talking a little bit about the way I live myself. It's a great airport. Why can I live in Orlando, work for a university based in New York, and do consulting and speaking across the country? Because I live in a city, Orlando has a great airport because people come there for tourism, right? Especially if I'm airline agnostic, there's like 180 destinations. I mean, it's not as many as you guys have. Certainly not internationally, but it's pretty darn good. You guys are one of the best airports you could pretty much have. You can get to Asia, you can get to Europe, you can get, I'm pretty sure, can you get to Singapore? That's like the farthest destination. Some of those flights have been turned on and off post-COVID. The people that need to live within an airport, that can aero commute, that need that as part of that, and the companies that need their headquarter locations where their executives, where their sales teams can come in and out, that's something that you guys have. And guess what? No one else is getting that. If you saw when I had that map, I'm not going to go back to it. Places like Grand Rapids, places like even Gary, Indiana, and all these other places, they are going to compete very heavily for the jobs and the residents because they have affordability. They have cheaper housing. They even have probably lower taxes, as I understand it, right? They don't have O'Hare. And they're not going to get O'Hare. That is the battle that you're fighting. That is the line you're fighting for. If you make your quality of life the best, if you make this the best place to live where you are very proud, and you guys all seem very proud, and I get it. I kind of agree with it. Now, I will admit, a little cold for me personally. And I'm sure you can say Florida's way too hot for me too, right? We can trade off. I can brag in January, you can brag in July and August. But the quality of life of that experience, what's close, if you can live, work, and play in a great dynamic, and if you can leave efficiently, you've got a winning combination. And I always like to leave in with a nice quote, and I try to think about, if I'm talking about cars and drives, and all these things, who would be a good one? Well, I came up with an obvious person. Who wants to guess who said this? If I asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. Henry Ford. I think when we're in the world that we're in today, we don't, everybody sort of thinks they want to work from home. I know that's the big battle. People want to have great lives. They want to have fulfilling lives that they can get to reasonably. That is a time boundary issue. If you make Lake County the best place to live, it'll be the best place to work. It'll be the best place. And so, Kevin, thank you so much. It's been my pleasure.
Josh, thank you. That was awesome. And not only because he said so many times that we're the best. And that's not the entire reason we chose you, but it's up there. So we've had a chance to celebrate a lot of successes today, and that's appropriate because frankly we've got a lot to celebrate. I want to thank you again to our friends from Fortune Brands Innovations on your decision to grow here. We really appreciate that. And sorry, I'm going to out you a little bit, but as Josh was saying, hey, companies have choices, and they look at things like housing availability, and both Lee and Kristen were nodding, because they've just gone through this and chose here. There's also a really big milestone and a big indicator here today. I want to thank my good friend, Phil Clement, the CEO of World Business Chicago, who's here today. I mean, think about that, the CEO of World Business Chicago out here in Lake County, just a couple of years ago, that would never have happened. And so we have a lot to celebrate. We've listed a ton of those things today, but we also heard that we can't rest on those laurels. If we're going to remain competitive regionally, nationally, and even globally, there are a couple of things that we need to do. I'm not going to say the same thing 3 times like Dr. Harris. However, there are a couple key things, right? He mentioned that as we as a nation are getting older, right? Every day, I forget what the number is, 60,000 baby boomers retire, right? As that keeps happening, that means that our workforce shrinks. And so in Lake County, in order to keep our economy growing, we need to keep our workforce growing. And which means we need to maximize that homegrown talent. We've talked about that a lot today. And we need to maximize the homegrown talent and continue to attract top talent. About that homegrown talent, you heard from Dr. Karner and the long list of accomplishments, and I assure you that was not the entire list, that he and his many partners in our education system have done over the last couple years. Importantly, you'll see the sign in the hallway on the way out. There's the fabulous new program about with the high schools that are working together. We talked about the Navigate Lake. We really need the business partnerships for this college going and career awareness. This career awareness is critical for this next generation. So please, we ask you to sign up, see how you can get involved. It's a big deal, especially for our manufacturers in the room. The new Manufacturing Alliance that CLC has just launched is set to have a really big impact on your workforce pipeline. I urge you to get involved and help set the course. Can't underestimate, we've heard a couple people call out the Tech Campus today. Hopefully all of you know who and what that is. I know they're here today. They have set enrollment records each of the last probably 5 or 6 years, something like that. Nearly 3,000 students teed up for the fall. That is awesome. Supporting these efforts and doing a ton of other great work, I'm going to call out our friends from the Lake County Community Foundation who are here today. They're in the middle of a really important capital campaign. I'm not going to actually do a full-on shakedown from up here, but they do great work. I urge you to find them and see how you can help. And now about attracting top talent, right? So we know Fortune Brands just said, like, Lee stood up here and said, like, we're hiring. Like, bring it. And Josh told us what we need to do. We must build more housing. Yeah, I want to hear that. It's a tough topic. It's a tough topic in every town. I'm looking out at a lot of mayors and village trustees. I know this is hard. We have to figure out how to do it. We can't just say, let them do it next door. We have to figure it out. I want to say thank you to Steve and Sandy and Dan for being with us today and for your leadership of LCP. Steve especially, you've been an absolute fabulous chair and a good friend, and I thank you for that. Our events are always a nice time to reflect on the wins, but also a great reminder that we have to be proactive and continue to set the new levels of success. Josh is going to stick around and chat. There's more coffee, because we know we all need that, across the hall. So please step on over afterwards. We get to continue the networking. Of course, we have the infamous or famous, depending on your view, brownies from Bent Fork Bakery in Highwood. They are really awesome. So grab one of those on your way out. And as I say every year, if it makes it to the car, you're doing it wrong. I'd like to thank all of you for attending and all of your work to enhance our local economy. I especially want to thank the Lake County's Board of Governors for your leadership and support. And of course, for all of our sponsors today, Lake County, College of Lake County, Old National Bank, Gorder Family Foundation, Hunter Family Foundation, Schreiber Philanthropy, Abbott, and Comcast, and that big list of logos on the back of your flyer. We couldn't do this without you. And especially to the LCP team. You've heard many call outs this year and how we are on a great run at LCP, and that is because of the work of Ron and Paris and Barbara and Joan here today. Thank you. This is fun. We've got a great bit of history behind us and really fun stuff ahead, and I know the energy of this room is excited about that, as we are. Thank you for being here. Let's continue it. You'll get an email with a survey. We really do take that survey seriously, so please keep an eye out for that, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.